Hey guys, how you doing? So, a little bit of a different backdrop today. We're back to a couch, but we're down here because it's like I just went to look at my watch and it's charging. It's like 9 o'clock at night and it's still 35 degrees. Like it's insane here at the moment. Anyway, hello. You're gonna come and say hello as well, are you? Okay, all right. Come here. Say hello to everybody. Say hello, hello. Okay, he's gonna get down and kill me in my sleep now. I did a very hot and brutal 100 and something Ks on the bike today. It started off really well. The first 50 Ks were great. Were actually really good, and then the second 50 were awful. It was disgusting and awful, and I may or may not have picked my guts up at the end of it, but it did remind me that don't knock down the camera. That I still owe you guys a race report. So yes, here we go. I am finally guilted myself into a race report. Well, no, I really wanted to do it. It's just, life happens as I try and actually that's something else that just before we get onto the race report. I always find a tangent, don't I? It's one of the things that I really do about my, like when I do the social media for this stuff is that I want this to be authentic. Like this is as much for me as it is for you guys. I'll be honest about that. So yeah, this is authentic. This is me that you deal with, that you get to see and deal with this, and so that means that life happens. And as I said in the last video, like I've had some, it's been tough the last this last week and a bit, because we're in that weird sort of space-time continuum weirdness of the week between Christmas and New Year's. Anyway, right, so race report for Mexico. So you saw me sort of in the lead up to the race, and then there was the race itself. So how did it go? So I was very much going into this race with a very different mindset from how I did it last year. So that's probably the first thing to say. My year this year has been my lead up to the race had definitely not been as focused as it had been to get to the start line the first time. So my lead up had been very broken, had definitely not been as structured and as even the lead up to my first one wasn't exactly smooth, but it definitely did not flow as well as it planned, and a lot of things did not go according to plan. I'd missed Goa, my bike had been broken in transit with Traverse City, which meant I didn't have my TT bike until the day before I flew out. It was the first and only chance I got to have a shakedown ride on her to make sure that she'd been fixed, that I'd got the bike ready to go before I get the bike fit was at least close, before bundling myself up and heading off to Mexico. So the lead up had not been great. So I definitely had discarded when I'd signed up, I wanted to really sort of take a significant time off, significant amount of time off my original time. I still have a goal of sub 15 hours. And I was really looking at sort of doing 14:30 was what I was aiming for. I was aiming to take an hour off my time. 1 to 2 hours off my time was what I wanted. But I very quickly, sort of during the year, got moved that out of my head. And so for me, in a way, it actually became more like my first Ironman. And I say that because this was really my first Ironman this year, because it was the first time I was doing it for me, and I was doing it for the right reasons. Why you should do an Ironman, why you should do an event that challenges you and tests you like it does. So yeah, it was. So for me, it was actually like, what, it'd be, if I go fast, great. But if not, I just want to finish, because I want to make it about the experience. And I really embraced that, and in a way I'm glad I did. So yeah, anyway, we get to race morning. Race morning, so similar to the previous year, it was sort of like, okay, we went to, T1, we got all the nutrition on, I got nutrition onto the bikes. I then had to hunt down, the problem is that the person I was supposed to hand off my boxes, my box for T2 wasn't where they said they were supposed to be, so I had to try and find someone. Eventually I did find someone. It took a bit longer than I expected, than I wanted, but we got there. And then we had to do the mad rush to get on the buses to head up to the swim start. But that, so it was already sort of, nervous. And then it was heading up to the swim start. So swim start was fresh as it was last year. Great atmosphere, great environment. All these people sort of getting ready to jump into the water by the marina. The walk out to the walk along the plank wasn't as far this year. Definitely not as far as it was last year. So that was kind of cool, but yeah, very familiar. Again, unfortunately, we had the same problem that we had at T1, which was the person I was supposed to be meeting at the swim start to give my T1 box to wasn't there. So that was a challenge. I then had to give it to another person. I said, you need to get it to this person. I don't know where they are, but I think they're over there, but you need to get it to them, or else things are going to go sideways for me very quickly. And I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but I had to roll the dice and do what I did, so I did that. Anyway, so then I jumped into the water, and the clock starts, and jumped in the water and off I went. I also got to do something which I was hoping I was going to get a chance to do it. I did get a chance to do it. So many people in videos would notice that I have this little wristband here. The lighting is terrible. But it's a thing that April gave to me the race morning of my first Ironman last year, and I'd wanted to do something for her, and it's actually the knot that she tied. It has not come undone, and I want to do the same for her. So I got one with her colours, with the same inscription. And I gave it to her as she was freaking out in the start shoot for her swim start. But I didn't get to, so I got to put it on and tie it on for her, but I didn't get to see her go in the water because she was significantly behind me. Anyway, so I'm in the water, I get in the water and off I go, swimming along. Definitely current was better this year than it was last year, but also I think my swimming has improved. Not a huge amount, but it definitely was good because it took 10 minutes off my swim. Definitely this current was a lot more consistent, less sort of swirly. Still a couple of bits where you did have to sort of fight the current a little bit, because the current does change as you go through. But yeah, it was definitely a good swim for me this year. T1 was a lot less disastrous than it was last year, which is kind of cool. So T1 was a lot shorter. For those who may remember my race report from last year, so T1 last year, I forgot to put a towel in. Of all the things to forget, I forgot a towel. So this time I made sure there was a towel in there. So the towel was good, it was fine, done, so we're all good. So I got my gear. My big concern was, especially on the back of Traverse City, was my CGM. So my CGM, when I came off the swim at Traverse City, my CGM, the data it gave me was not correct, and I had to do a double recalibration. So I was really concerned. I was really interested to see what would happen this time. But the numbers came out where I wanted them to, which was good, where I expected them to. So in fact, it was pretty good actually. So I was sitting around the 4.5 mark, which was where I aim to be coming out of the swim. So I can pop a gel as I get on, and I've got my nutrition in the bike, so I'm ready to go. Because my nutrition plan is very much based around sort of sticking around a bike range of about 7 to 8. I have to watch not spiking too high, but I can sort of keep going. Anyway, so Get out. So it was good to see that those numbers were where I wanted to be. Great, all good. Calibrate, pop the finger, blood test matched what I saw on the sensor. We're good to go. So head out, get on the bike, get on the bike, turn out to the onto the highway, and get going. All seemed going pretty well until I think second A station. I was like, I need to poop. Now I pooped very, the nervous poop and all the rest of it before this whole show started, and that was fine. I thought that was fine. No, apparently I had more to get rid of, and apparently that would then plague me for most of the first lap of the bike course. So that slowed me down a little, but I'm training weight, offloading weight, so it's fine. Anyway, but I was feeling pretty good, so I was following my nutrition plan, all good. So apart from 3 stops, used porta potties, things seem to be going pretty good. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. So I'm going around, doing reasonably good time. As I come through, my first inkling that something wasn't going so well was about was about almost halfway. It was about halfway through my second lap. I knew something was off. And that's when I'm approaching special needs. Now, last year I'd made a mistake with special needs, as I'd held it off to the final lap, which meant that I only had like less than a third of a lap to go before I was at the finish, before I was at T2. So this time around I was like, no, I'm mindful, nutrition was being used on point, so I was just about out in the nutrition as I would get to special needs. So I'm like, okay, I need to get to special needs so I can remix my nutrition for the second half of the bike and then keep going. That was my first inkling that something wasn't right, was as I was sort of starting to head up the far side of the island. I'd almost used up all of my nutrition for the first half of the bike, which is fine. It's fine. But I was feeling like my blood sugars were incredibly high. Like I feel my ketones building, and I was like, this isn't feeling good. And I looked at my CGM, which is mounted where between my aero bars, and it was a beautiful steady line. Like, it was great. It was telling me I was between 6 and 7, and if anything, it was a little bit lower than where I want to be. But I'm like, that's perfect. This is exactly the line I want to have. What's going on? Why am I feeling absolutely awful? Like, feeling like, starting to feel nauseous. I'm starting to feel like this like cotton mouth where it's really high. And it's really just not good. So I'm like, what do I do? Because I don't have any way. I've got to. Given my aviation background, is that you trust your instruments. No matter what you think, no matter what you feel, you trust your instruments. That's what you trust. So for me, I trust my sensors. I have to. I don't have a choice. So I get to special needs, and I go, there's something not right. I think, okay, well, maybe it's just the heat, because it was hot. It definitely wasn't as windy as last year, which is good and bad, because it meant that it wasn't cooling you down, but it also wasn't slowing you down. So swings and roundabouts. So I was like, okay. I was like, no, I'm going to pull in, because I briefly thought, do I just skip it and just keep going? I thought, no, I need to. I learned that lesson last year. I'm going to stop, take on a couple of goo waffles that I'm supposed to eat, mix up my new nutrition to put it in my speed fill, retops of water, and just get going again. Put some more sunscreen on and get going. Anyway, so I stop, mix up my nutrition, have my gurus, get off the bike, stretch it out, and I'm like, okay. Still feeling off, and I'm like, look, see how we go, let's just get back on the bike, keep going, do everything up. As I turn out, as you leave special needs, you go north for a little bit further, and then you turn left, and you're sort of heading across the top of the island, back into town, before you start your third lap. And the whole bit along that top there, I'm starting to feel cramps building through my head and through my neck, through my back. Not so much my legs, but I could feel the red, and I could feel, again, I'm just feeling really, really high. Like I feel my blood sugars are going high. But I'm looking at this beautiful line exactly in range on my CGM. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Anyway, as I'm going through town, I actually have to stop because suddenly, just as we're approaching town, I get this massive cramp through the top of my spine, base of my neck. I couldn't actually look up. I couldn't actually look up to see where I was going. If I wanted to see where I was going, what was in front of me, I actually had to turn my head and sort of side look out towards the front to where I was going. It was just messed up. Anyway, so I stopped and I got off the bike and I just laid down and I stretched it out. I tried as much stretching as I could. And I have to say, I really wanted to cover this off because this is a really, really beautiful moment. So one of the things I love Coz. I love the racing Coz. I mean, slightly biased because it was my first. It's also the only full distance Ironman that I've done, though I've been around a few others. So when I was there sort of trying to stretch this massive cramp through my spine out, two guys came out of a local shop and was like, Nico, you okay? You okay? Okay. I'm like, and he's like, what do you need? What do you need? And he's like, you need Gatorade, you need, and I said, no, not like Gatorade, because again, by this point I'm starting to figure out that there is something really, really wrong with my blood sugars. I'm like, just agua, just water, agua. And so he comes out with a frosting crusted bottle of water to give me, and he's like, so he just pulled it out of his shop stock and given it to me. This is one thing I love. The island, the community, the whole island gets behind it. They love it. They love everything about it, and it's awesome. Anyway, so I stretch this out. I get back on the bike, and I know that I'm 100. By this point, I'm 115, 120 k's in to 180 k bike, so I've still got most of a lap to do. And yeah, it's not good. And I know now that there is something wrong. I don't know how high my sugars are. So this basically meant I tried to sip some of my nutrition, but I just couldn't stomach it. I felt like as soon as I sipped it, I wanted to, spit it back out and want to throw up. So I could tell that my body my ketones were starting to be produced too high. My blood sugar was too high, which meant that I just could not keep anything on board. Now, I was able to take water on and keep water down. So at least I was sort of trying to stay somewhat hydrated, but I was losing electrolyte, I was losing salts. I was just like, I just did what I had to do to survive. Anyway, so I still did a better time on the bike than I did last year. I was about 10 or 15 minutes faster on the bike. Hello, yes, your claws are very sharp, darling. Yes. You should see his face right now. He's just like, yes, he's in attention seeking, aren't you? So anyway, so I get to, so finally, I eventually get to T2. And I had to stop about 2 more times. I had to stop, just stretch out. I was still able to keep water down, but I had none of my nutrition. So that final, basically half of the bike course, I was not taking on any nutrition, which was putting me at a real deficit for the run, and I knew it. But again, it was also part of my acceptance early on that this was going to be more about let's embrace the experience and see what happens. So I get to T2, and the girl's waiting for me with my box. Thank God that I did make it to T2. Because T2 is not normally as big an issue if it's not there, but because of what was happening with my sugars, I was like, no, I really need to check this. So anyway, so my CGM is telling me that it's 5.6, which is beautiful. Break my finger, and it's 14, 15. So which immediately freaks out the CGM, and you've now got to recalibrate it twice more times. 15.6, 15.4, 15.6. Yeah. Messed up. So I'm like, no wonder I'm feeling so awful. Now that's also, bear in mind, so I don't even want to think about how high I actually was when I started feeling sick about that, when I had special needs, because that was 15.6 after biking for 90 kilometers with no nutrition coming in, just burning it out. I don't even want to think what number that was at. So I now no longer trust my CGM for the rest of this race. It didn't seem to lie to me again after that, but it's a serious problem considering that, as I said, my CGM is a Dexcom, which is known to be the most accurate of all the CGMs around. Like Medtronic of trying, they are apparently getting better. Particularly they have to be better now that they're doing the hybrid closed loop with the 670 and the Guardian and Elite, I think. But Dexcom are universally known to be more accurate. So this is not good. And I've got to send in a thing with them with all the stats and data and stuff and go, what WTF? Because this is dangerous. Anyway, so I'm heading out on the run. And because I was high for so long, my ketones were still kicking around and it was just not good. Like straight away, I was struggling on the run. Last year I was able to, get on the run, and I was actually able to run 3Ks, walk for a little bit and then run. This time I only kept that up. I didn't even keep that up for the first lap. And I was down to sort of, running a kilometre, maybe 2, and then walking. So, and as I was coming back through, I knew because I was actually on track for a faster time, and then the run was just like, nah, that's just it's gonna go. So second lap, as I was finishing my second lap of the run, I hit the point that I hit a little bit earlier on the first time round, because I'd been pacing myself a lot more because I was running until I started feeling like I was going to vomit, and then I'd walk until the nausea passed. Because I daresn't take anything on for like the shaking and stuff like that, so I'm nutritionally deficit and was just surviving basically. And I'd run until I felt like I was going to vomit, and then I would walk until I started feeling a little bit better, and I run, and just did that for most of the second lap. And then just before the end of the second lap, I was like, nope, stop, and bath everything up. And of course, I use a liquid nutrition plan, so there's no solids to bath up. It's just liquid I'm blowing up. And again, this is one of the things I really want to talk about, Coz. So, a cafe owner came out and she talked to me, wanted to see if it was alright. She actually mixed up some like a water with a bit of lemon, lime, and some salt in it, because she knew that I was losing salt, so I needed to replenish that. But also needed something to sort of try and keep it down without being sweet, and that's the big thing, is that I needed to not be sweet. She sort of made sure that I was fine. She tried to get the medics, and I was like, don't you dare get the medics. I said, I am going to finish this even if I have to walk. I have enough time just to walk it if I have to. But but I was really blessed that she was able to do that, and she helped me out, and then it helped me get back under control, and I got myself underway again. And I think I only vomited once more after that. I think came close a couple of times, but it was only once more after that I vomited. It was good. So huge thank you to her as well. I have no idea if you probably watched. Well, you're never going to see this, but thank you. I can't even remember the name of the cafe. I'm sorry. It was a little bit of a blur. Anyway. So again, it was sort of like run until you feel nauseated, and walk it off, walk a bit further, then run a bit more, and that's basically how I finished. In the end, I did finish. Anyway, I finished, and I finished about 30 seconds faster, I believe. Actually, no, I don't think it was in 30 seconds faster. I think it was less. But yeah, I did finish faster. So you know what? I'll take it. It definitely, my prep work was not what I wanted. My preparation this year was awful. It was not what I wanted. But the big thing I took away from it was that it was me doing it for me this time. I did this race for me, on my terms. How I was doing it because I wanted to do it. Not because I had a point to prove, not because I was trying to beat off some demons from my past, slay some demons from my past. I actually wanted to do it. And that was a really, really big thing for me, to do that. So, in a way, as I said, this was actually my first. And I managed to sort of summon enough when I was coming down the finish chute. I actually just sort of took my time, sort of wandered down the last like kilometre. Even late at night, there's a lot of people around. There were a few Australians around and stuff like that. They were cheering away, and I was like, "That's awesome!" And I got a lot of high fives, and it was just there's actually a really good photo. I'll see if I can find it and put it up, because I actually only looked at the race photos like today, and put it up of me sort of coming down the finish chute. You can tell that I'm really happy, and I'm really happy I did it. So yeah, as I said, I loved it. I did it. So number 2 in the bag, number 1, depending on how you want to look at it. So yes, happy to be Coz. I think I will find another race though for the future. I think twice the Coz is enough. I think I need to find another one to do, but probably not for a little bit, because next year has bigger plans and bigger things to do. Now, of course, so the other big thing was, of course, this was April's first as well. So April did really well on the swim. She did really, really well swim. She did really, really well on swim. I don't want to speak too much for her, because she's done a race report. I'll see if I can find a link to it, put it down in the description down below. The bike did not go as well as planned. It was definitely slower than she wanted. She was butting cut off as she was worried about it, but she still made it. Unfortunately, the run didn't go so well. Lap 2 of the run really hurt her. So as I said, she was with the bike, she was butting cut off, like she was right up against cut off. But she still made it, but she's butting cut off. And then on the run, lap 2 was a struggle for her. That one was bad. Last lap wasn't bad, but lap 2 really took some time out of it. Now, she did the full distance. She did the full 140.6 miles. She covered everything. She finished it. She went around the finish chute. Unfortunately, she missed cutoff of the run. She made all the intermediate cutoffs, but yeah, they closed finish chute not long, just before she got there, which is very sad. But she still did the distance. So there are some that will say that she didn't do it because she's not an Ironman, because she didn't do it within the time. I pointed out that Ironman is a distance, and at the end of the day, it's also a mindset. So yes, there are cut-off times, and but the thing is that cut-off times are artificial creations that were brought in 1983 or 86, if I remember correctly, because they needed to re-open the roads in Kona, because it was took like 26 hours to finish it. But and that's when they started bringing in time cutoffs. So at the end of the day, it's actually about a mindset, and it's about, did you do the difference? Because when Ironman first started, it was whoever completes a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and a 26.2 mile run, we will call them an Ironman. So anyway, I will. It's annoyed her frustrated. She's already said that she's going for another one because she needs to see those words, which is fine. But either way, I think that she's amazing, and I'll still call her an Ironman, because as far as I'm concerned, she did the distance under race conditions. So anyway, I'm sure people will disagree with me, and that's fine, and that's what healthy debate's all about. Anyway, that's that. Anyway, so that pretty much rounds it up. This is this confusing week between Christmas and yes, as I said, today was my first long ride back. It was 100 k's, and as I said, the first 50 k's were fine. It was the back half. It was awful coming home. Like it was really rough. Ugh, it was really rough to get back, but I did. May have barfed as I was around in the corner to come home, but anyway. And that's just, I got to work through some nutrition again. It's just, the issue I seem to have is that my blood sugar spikes. Like, nutrition is really good. It was really, and I said, it was because and part of it, I kind of know part of what it was is that the nutrition I have is fine, except it tastes awful when it gets hot. So I supplemented it with Calippo ice cream, ice block, and that tasted great at the time. Probably messed me around a little bit because unfortunately I couldn't find anywhere that had ice to cool down the nutrition I had. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, I think I really just I think it was partially nutrition, but more likely it was just I overheated because it was 40 something degrees today, so something stupid. But anyway, it got done. That's the most important thing. So, alright, well, that's pretty much it. As I said, I promise you the race report. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I gotta go edit this now. Okay, alright. Thanks for tuning in, and hope you all had a wonderful Christmas as well. Wherever you are and whatever you did, I hope it was a great time. As I said, it was great for me being able to welcome to another family. Kind of cool. Alright. Take care, be safe, spread the love, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye!